Hello, everyone, and welcome to this segment of Hidden Gems. I'm Chief Commercial Officer for Telarus, Richard Murray, and today I am joined by Performive's CTO, Ryan Duraco. Today we're going to discuss why Performive's unique approach to offering companies fully managed cloud and security solutions can help them evolve and grow. So welcome on in, join me, let's discuss why Performive is a Telarus hidden gem. Ryan, welcome.
Hey, Richard, thanks for having us.
Now, you've been part of the Telarus family of suppliers for about 16 months now, which isn't too long. And so many of our partners may not be fully familiar with what you guys offer. So I really appreciate you joining us and taking the time to teach our partners about what you guys do that's so unique in the market.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. As you said, been in the family here for a short period of time, so it's a great opportunity to let everyone know where we really excel and help engage with our clients. There's some unique things about us in terms of how we run our sales process and the solutions that we bring to the table that really, really focus on what the customer's actual true business needs and challenges are. And I think that's really something that people will be able to latch onto and see how that really adds value to the customer.
Yeah, and I can't wait to really dive into it. Our engineering team mentioned some of those things and really look forward to getting into that as we go through. I did want to start, however, as our partners continue to learn and evolve into this space, sometimes they can key off of names that come up when they're meeting with the customer, whether they're looking to replace an old legacy solution or maybe the customer is looking at a competitor. What are some of the names out there of replacement solutions, competitors that you guys have that our partners should key off on?
Yeah, so there's really a lot. When we talk about data, data is at the core of everyone's business now. So there are a lot of solutions, whether we're talking about data protection or even operational data. So if we're looking at data protection, looking at possibly legacy technologies and backup platforms, things like Commvault, App Assure, Rapid Recovery, those are some other products where we lead with Veeam as a solution, and we have some unique options for providing Veeam to customers completely as a service. When we're looking at modern possible competitors like Rubrik, anytime that the Rubrik is possibly in a solution for a customer, we have a very compelling offer on a Veeam-powered solution that can protect both the customer's on-premise data, their cloud data, their Microsoft and Office 365 platform, and also their Salesforce platform. So it's a pretty compelling story about a single solution that provides customers visibility across the stack. We also have capabilities when it comes to looking at what core operational workloads are, particularly solutions powered by VMware. So if customers are considering refreshes of on-premise VMware infrastructure, we have really neat solutions for both on-premise and cloud-based workloads powered by VMware.
That's great. And I know that along with what you guys provide, we have some other suppliers within the Telarus ecosystem
Sure.
that you would bump into as well. What are some of those that, hey, if a partner's looking at these guys, they should also look at you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we love to go up against RapidScale, Rackspace, TierPoint, Flexential. When we're talking about larger scale managed cloud services, we wouldn't say that it's a competitive platform against the hyperscalers, your AWS and Azure, but more so a complementary solution in that we can align with that. So even if there are things that are traditionally viewed as maybe mutually exclusive, there are great opportunities to expand with the public cloud services.
Okay, that's great. And I think with with the understanding of some of those solutions that are out there, some of the where you guys are competing against, now let's get into why they should give you more attention over those other solutions.
Yeah, thanks. And actually, some of this, what I would say is really evolved around talking about how we compete with maybe some of the people that we just talked about. Our approach with our partners and our customers is a little bit different, and we really truly focus on some things that are really part of our core values as a business. One of our core values is customer first. That sounds pretty simple, but that really shows through in a part of our process. When we look at how we engage with the customers, we are very heavy on discovery. We're going to focus on having that conversation with the customer of specifically what are their business challenges and problems, and understanding what are their IT initiatives. Are we solving for something that is an immediate need, or is this a laundry list of their goals for the year? Oftentimes we know that customers are going to say, I've got 30 initiatives to get done this year, and they're going to get done one or two. We're going to want to understand what those are and how our solutions can relate to them to allow them to take down much more than that one or two that they're typically going to get through. So that's done through the discovery phase of really understanding the true business value for them as a customer, and then understanding how we can architect the solutions. We're not going to be quick to jump into demos. We're not going to be quick to throw out quotes. We're not going to throw out a quote without talking to the customer first, because we feel, and ultimately our customers feel, that if they're receiving thoughtful engagement, thoughtful interaction, that the solution is actually of significantly more value.
And speaking of thoughtful interaction and having conversations back and forth, I may be putting you on the spot here, but I know together we've worked on some good solutions, and we've worked together to really bring some unique offerings to some customers together. You talked about this approach that you guys have of discovering, really going deep. And this is where I may be putting you on the spot. Can you think of any Telarus partner interactions that we've had that have been successful in highlighting that approach and the success of it?
So yeah, absolutely. Last year, we did have a project that we worked on together for a customer that highlights a bunch of the things we just talked about. As this customer came in, they had an immediate need because they were having some failures of legacy equipment on site. They were in a situation of considering potentially doing a refresh themselves. We were able to help that customer see the value in a transition to a private cloud environment, full data protection with Veeam, as well as additional security services for their endpoint and perimeter security. Now, what was interesting about this opportunity is that there are some other players that were in the ecosystem and came to the table, but the way that they engaged was completely different. We went in with the customer first and foremost to understand what the technical challenges were and what their business timelines were and what they needed to accomplish. Our competition in the deal simply gave two quotes based upon some numbers that the customer provided in their introductory information. We had two calls with the customer before we provided any information on a solution, and these were really scoping the solution. Ultimately, what the customer said is, after those two calls and we came back with a technical solution, the customer did not even follow up with the other two partners, because those partners had not even been able to turn a solution other than a price, and couldn't have a call with the customer for another week after we had already solutioned it. So over that time period, we were able to monopolize the time with the customer, engage thoughtfully, deeply, have continued conversations that helped drive the customer to understand the true value of what we were accomplishing, as opposed to simply firing out quotes because we wanted to be first to the table. So we find that that approach helps that customer understand the true value. And what that leads into is we're seeing post-sale, the first opportunity, that we're seeing 25 to 50% growth on those customers every year. So when we go back to the table, really, again, focusing on the customer brings value to the solution.
Yeah, I love the thoughtful approach, but I think what I love even more, and I want to just underline it, make sure everybody heard it, was you sell it with Performive, it grows after that, 25, 50% growth because of the approach, because of the solutions that you're able to bring. I think that's a great component of what you do.
Yeah, that's and absolutely. In this case, that customer, after they were on board for 90 days, they completed their onboarding. Everything was great. They were happy. They came back for another round of an enhancement to their platform. And that, on that particular case, was a 25% growth. They then came back 3 months later and had another growth.
Love it. That's a good example. I'm glad I put you on the spot on that one. Now, I do want to follow up. So you've got this great thoughtful approach, all these solutions that we've talked about. What are some other key differentiators that you offer that our partners need to make sure they're aware of?
Yeah, there are some things when we talk about, maybe from a solution perspective, what a competing platform may be. Particularly, we talked about, Rubrik was mentioned in here, that when we're looking at customers that are considering deployment of appliances or possibly displacing legacy technologies for their backup, what they would call it, but what we look at it as data protection now. We've positioned our data protection products as a component of the customer's security posture. So no longer are we talking about backups or something that's thrown on a tape and put under someone's desk or shipped off in boxes. Uh, Backups are really a key piece of your business now, protecting that data, protecting from ransomware from other platforms. And we have provided options to the customers that enable them in completely different ways. So whether that's protection of their data on premise, replication to the cloud, protection of their public cloud data, whether that is their Microsoft Office 365 suite or their Salesforce data. We can offer them the options to protect that into an on-premise appliance. And this is where it is a really powerful option that allows customers to potentially leverage situations where they may have existing infrastructure and avoid CapEx. We can work with them to leverage things that may already be in place, as well as provide completely turnkey as a service solutions for Veeam. So customers don't have to consider CapEx when they're looking at maybe backing up hundreds of terabytes to petabytes of data.
Excellent. Well, thank you. I think those are all good differentiators and things hopefully our partners can take away with them today. I will also, as you were talking about all of these things, I remember having a conversation where it was mentioned how good your TCO calculator is in being able to show the value of all of these solutions. So you guys certainly have the full stack and approach that it allows our partners to be successful. But let me turn the page and ask you about what does the right customer profile look like? As our partners interact at all different sizes, when should they really be leaning in and knowing that you guys are a great fit?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So when we look at what our customer base looks like, typically those customers that are a great fit are a mid-size enterprise and larger. That doesn't mean that we're excluded from servicing the SMB market because the core value that we're talking about here, ultimately for data protection, is data. Customers of all sizes have data, and even organizations that may be smaller may have a lot of data. So when we talk about, what industries do those customers come from, we're seeing lots of success in the construction, manufacturing, distribution, supply chain logistics area. We're also seeing customers that have more voluminous amounts of data, in particular data protection requirements. That is typically things like healthcare practices, financial institutions. Those customers are someone that we're uniquely positioned to service if they are geographically distributed, because we can provide those data services across regions and keep data in regions where it may need to be. So those types of customers often find a lot of value in our global footprint and are a great fit. Something that's kind of universal to all of them, regardless of industry or size of business, whether it's headcount or revenue, is that typically they have an IT team that is lacking in an ability to execute its projects. That's typically because they're either short on man hours, short on labor, or even just short of budget allocation for things like CapEx. And they're often burdened by an immature or legacy stack. So those are really typical areas that can say these are signs to engage, and these are great customers for Performive.
Excellent. So, let's say our partners, they hear customers wanting to replace a Rubrik solution. Their IT team is stretched, right? They've identified these types of things as a possible opportunity. When's the best phase of this to engage with your team?
So it's early and often would be the joking response, but truthfully early in the process, because again, back to the point of the discovery and the conversation of understanding that there is a problem and a business objective, that really helps drive the customer towards making that decision to execute that project or prioritize that project. If the customer has confidence that the project is going to be executed on time and on budget, it's better to be in early rather than late.
So our partners have been talking to a customer. They've picked up on some of these cues that we've talked about. Maybe it's a Rubrik solution. They know there's a need. How do they engage with your team?
So our team is no channel conflict. So when we look at how we're organized, we have our east, west, northeast, southeast teams for our channel. So you would work with our channel team. Our channel team would connect with one of our internal sellers, and we would have a kickoff internally to understand the opportunity before we get out in front of the customer. When we engage with the customer, we're going to engage first call with our internal sales and our SE. So again, to the point of discovery and our engineering, we engage with engineering on every call. We are always attempting to understand and engage the customer's challenges and problems. Along the way, our sellers and our channel is completely aligned with every opportunity to support our partners and our customers.
Well, thank you, Ryan. These are all incredible thoughts and incredible things for our partners to take away. I just want to ask one final question. Is our partners walk away from today's call together? What are some closing thoughts that you have, some things that you want to make sure that our partners fully understand and walk away with when they think of Performive?
Great. It would be excellent for the partners to have an understanding today that Performive is unique in the ecosystem in how we engage with our customers and how we engage with our partners, and that we are here for the customer's journey, and we ensure that the customer sees the value in the solutions that Performive is bringing to bear because of our discovery process and how we engage to truly understand what the customer themselves needs as their IT objectives and what their targets are for the year. That's something that we think really separates us, and that it helps the partners understand that we can engage and win together.
Excellent final thoughts. Thank you, Ryan, so much. I just want to thank you again for highlighting the great solution set that you guys have for our customers. You guys have an incredible team. And most importantly for me, the walkaway here is how thoughtful you guys are in your sales approach. It makes us all look better, helps us all succeed. So just a great conversation today. That's it. I am Richard Murray. I want to thank my guest, Ryan Duraco, for joining me today from Performive. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this segment of Hidden Gems. Have a great week.